blast off.
Hello, and welcome back to Age Like Wine podcast, where we go through our backlog of movies, video games, TV shows from the past and decide whether or not they've aged well in this era. I'm your host, Matthew.
I'm your host, William.
Oh, wait, this feels so wrong. It's like there's
Sorry,
someone
I was drinking
missing.
beer. Oh, that's what you meant. Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. So strange. What could it Wait a second. Peter's not here.
yes he is.
That's He's here in spirit, perhaps.
I mean, he's in my profile picture.
Oh, he is in your profile picture.
That's right.
That's a good point. But yes, this episode's a little different. We don't have Peter here. We're doing something the fans have asked for a really long time. Okay,
Oh
I'm
shit!
I'm
It's a good thing
I'm joking.
you're editing the audio format this
Oh,
time.
I ain't editing that out. Don't you worry.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, Peter will not be joining us for this episode. We've got William and I here to discuss this movie. Peter just could not make it. He will be back next week when we discuss whatever it is we discuss. But yes, this week we've got the two greatest, hottest takes of hosts, and we're going to be discussing
The
an
two
old
banditos.
classic.
That's right.
There are two banditos in it to a degree. We're talking about the Men in Black from 1997. Now, I would be amiss to talk about Men in Black without talking about Will Smith at this time before we get started. I just want to say Will Smith is an idol. He's a legend and the greatest YouTuber of all time as well. Um, and I got to say, this might be one of my favorite roles from him. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but like I like me some Will Smith,
I take it
and
as
this
a hot take, in my
you
opinion.
think it's a hot take, yeah?
Yeah, I definitely think that no matter what role he has, it can't like trump his role as Deadshot in Suicide Squad. So the
Okay,
fact that
okay.
like you're even comparing, like you're even like mentioning that he like this is his like best role without even mentioning that masterpiece of a movie is just kind of disrespectful in my opinion. But I mean, I don't know.
Actually,
I mean,
no, no, no. You're actually right there. That was pretty sacrilege.
yeah, that's right.
I mean, jeez, there's so many movies trumped by his performance in Suicide Squad, like I
Exactly.
Am Legend uh, and Independence Day. He was in Independence Day, right? Yeah, he was.
Pursuit of Happiness. I mean, I don't know,
Pursuit of
but if you're
Happiness. Yeah,
wrong,
all just dust in the wind compared to the long-standing, not Men in Black, Suicide Squad.
that's right.
Excellent. But yeah, Suicide Squad is trash for anybody who didn't get the joke there. It's a bad movie.
You're saying I
But
have a
no,
trashy
seriously, I
taste.
have trash taste. I mean, you could be right, but yeah, I really liked Will Smith in this movie. I he's got such charisma, and like in this movie, it's very like it's a pretty funny movie. He steals the show for me. I know this is so early in our episode, but I feel like it must be said. Someone has to spread the truth, and that's gonna be me, Will Smith. Will Smith, 2020, right up there with Kanye.
Oh man.
Oh man,
I don't know how I
but
feel
yeah.
about that. I mean, don't I mean I like Will Smith, but I don't like Kanye. So just saying that.
No, I mean, we're just talking about future presidents, dude.
I guess you're
But
right.
back to the movie. I gotta throw some respect on Tommy Lee Jones' name because he does super well here too. I don't think he does a lot of comedies in general. Someone might I might get a text from somebody saying, "No, you idiot." He does so many comedies. You're wrong. But like I don't think that's really his brand. And he does pretty good in this, playing like the straight-laced um like secret agent. I think he does a great job. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. What do you think? Do you think I'm throwing out all my takes here?
Hmm. I mean, I love this duo. I mean, obviously, Tommy Lee Jones plays like a really good, I guess, I don't know if he's really like the straight man, or I guess Will Smith is more of the straight man because like Tommy Lee Jones's character is kind of like used to all like the alien craziness around him, and then Will Smith is kind of like our inserted character, where he's like a real guy who's actually like experiencing all of this like craziness for the first time. But like I really liked the dynamic between the two. And as a side note, Matt, you should check your phone. But besides that, yeah, I really liked the pair that was shown through the movie. Like their dynamic is really great. Like throughout, like every scene they're in, they pretty much carry it, right?
Right,
And
right, right.
honestly, this might be going a bit too ahead, but I felt that this film, like by itself, had I not known there was like a Men in Black 2, 3, whatever the hell the one of Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson is,
International, baby.
International. Like I thought this was a really good standalone film itself, and that's mostly carried by like the dynamic between the two because you have like really good like setup for both the characters. I mean, you don't need to know too much about them, but you know enough to really understand how they act throughout the movie, and just you, like they are very human in the whole context of this like very wacky sci-fi fiction movie, which I really enjoyed.
Oh, no, I totally agree. Also, going to what you said about my text,
Mm,
I actually got a text saying that he made comedy right now while we're streaming this. No one's heard
yeah,
it. It's from this guy William.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and block that real quick.
Oh, okay. I mean, you said something about like if Tommy Lee Jones was in comedy movies.
Right. Yeah, I just didn't expect a response so soon.
I mean, we are live streaming this.
Yeah, that's not true. So,
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I guess
must have
every
been an alien.
lie has a
Hmm.
bit of truth, right? Although that was a complete lie.
Wow. Just spelling it out for me. I appreciate that.
Yeah. No worries,
But
man. No worries. I
what you were saying,
am
I
so off
totally
trail.
agree.
Yeah.
I I totally agree that these two like carry the film very hard.
Oh
But
yeah.
like that's not the only thing. You kind of mentioned it a bit. I think the world building is so tight on this movie.
It's
Like
tight.
it's so toy dude.
Toy.
Toy dude. No, I think it's super well done. Where like you got all these aliens who feel so comfortable here. Where it's like this whole immigrant situation with aliens. It's really funny. It's really well made. It doesn't feel like they're breaking any rules with like the rules they put out there are very simple. It's like there are aliens. Some of them live with us, and they have to follow our rules. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating. I think it's really funny the setup. I like the alien designs, like those. I don't know the actual term for I don't remember, but the worm guys are so funny. I love those dudes.
I don't remember what they were called. I mean, they were mentioned several times, but
They were mentioned several
it's
times.
it's like the part of like a sci-fi comedy that you pay attention to the least, which are like the names that they make up.
Oh no, for sure. I know Agent J, Agent K. I got those on lock. Mr.
Ag-
JK,
Agent Z.
Agent Z, also
He's
excellent.
yeah. I think
I like the whole agent naming thing. I've always liked that. It's in Get Smart. It's in
hmm.
it's in James Bond. Like I think it's cool, you know. I I'm down with it.
Do they call him
A-
Agent JB?
Agent JB.
Justin Bieber?
I don't-
Hey yo
I
JB.
think hey yo, Mr. JB. You got that yummy, my guy?
Hey, we don't want to get copyrighted, alright, dude?
Yeah, yeah, no, you're right, you're right. But yeah, that's one thing I want to like make very clear here is the world building super cool. Um, we didn't go back and watch 2 and 3 here or international, but having seen all of them, the world building falters in a few places in those, especially international, but it's still like the same fun romp, you know. But and the same like mostly tight world where you get to see these characters interact. Um,
Tight.
it's going back to the whole tight thing for some reason. I don't know what to tell you.
Tight.
Um, Dude, we were talking about characters. We didn't even mention the dog. How are we gonna go through this without discussing the acting prowess of that dog?
Wasn't he only in it for like 30 seconds? Because I'm gonna be honest, I kind of just like zoned out during his scene.
Okay, I mean, yes, he was in it for like 30 seconds, but
Okay, okay. I think he's more prominent in the other movies, right?
he becomes like a fan favorite
Yeah, because he gets like
for
his
sure.
own suit or something at one point. I mean,
His own spin-off movie, perhaps.
I don't know, like Puss in Boots, but like whatever the hell that dog's name is. Pug in
Pug,
suit?
Pug in
Huh?
suit. Is
Huh?
that what his? Oh, jeez.
I don't know.
I'm down with it. Let's get it greenlit.
Hmm.
I think we have something on our hands here. But yeah. So we've talked about the world a little bit. Well, I talked about the world a little bit. What do you think?
It's a cool world. I'm gonna be honest. The CGI for me didn't age the best. I mean that's kind of a given. I mean I don't think this movie had the greatest of budgets, but it was very fun, campy. But I'm gonna be honest, they did a good job with the special effects in this world and like the set design, especially like the whole underground Men in Black office is one of the like the dopest like sets I've ever seen in like a movie, like a futuristic movie, especially like one of this like recent, right? Because I think they just like keep that essentially like that essential like outline, which shows that they put in like a lot of work initially for it. But yeah, like the aliens, or I guess they really had an obsession with like showing like the guts or like the aftermath of like killing aliens, like a lot, a bit, a bit overly. You know what I mean? Like you'll see like green goop, like a bunch of guts or whatever, just covering all these actors. Pretty much like Nickelodeon, like that green
It
slime
was
thing. Pretty much.
Yeah, it was definitely Nickelodeon slime time quite often.
Yeah.
I kind I I I kind of liked it just because it went
Oh,
into the
all
whole
right,
like
freak.
oh, okay, yeah, not like that, okay?
I kind of really liked it.
kind of I was kind of digging it. No, I thought it was kind of funny how they were like, wearing these suits and they'd get messy. It's very like ape brain, like, oh, it's funny because he's messy now. But
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of funny how they did that.
Oh, thank God
It's
they didn't have a fart joke in
definitely
there.
oh,
Oh man,
you
this
should
movie
watch
would be
International.
this movie would be an immediate 0 to 10. Are you kidding me? There's actually a fart joke in International.
Yeah,
All right,
dude, there's some jokes that do not see the light of. They're jokes I would write on my phone, and then look back
you got
later
some
and be
pretty
like,
good jokes though on your phone. Honestly,
I
all of
mean,
them are really good. Don't sell
I
yourself
appreciate
short.
that. Though. I
Catch Matt's
appreciate that.
comedy show live this Saturday on
Okay, that's
twitch.tv/funkyfrog321.
okay. That's simply not true. But hey, if the fans want it, I'll do it. If the fans don't want it, thank God. Um, but yeah, I I do want to agree with you on the CGI. I think they did probably the best they could with what they had. Um,
Yeah.
but it's just something you accept, especially I've come to accept all this with this podcast and watching a lot of older movies is that um CGI am hard and
Hmm.
and people have learned a lot in these past 23 years since Men in Black came out. So I cut them slack. I don't let it take me out of the film for the most part.
I
But yeah,
mean,
it's a bit goofy.
it's not Scooby Doo like the first one we watched level bad,
True.
but
Yeah, yeah.
it's not far from it. This
It,
is just my take, my spicy
it's
take.
it went to the same school probably.
Yeah.
Same CGI school. One of them was a better student though. Whoever the CGI artists are. And hey, if you're out there listening, this isn't a roast. Hit us up.
I mean, it kind of is a
Um,
roast, but
it
we
is okay.
apologize in
It is.
advance. I mean,
It is
obviously,
a bit of a roast.
your line of work is very difficult, and obviously at the time that was probably phenomenal. So do not let our own cultured opinions dissuade you or even
Yeah,
anger you.
we don't know anything.
We
We're
don't know what
recording
we're
this
talking
at one
about.
in the morning. We're degenerates. Don't worry
Mm.
about our opinion. So, anyways, let's keep giving our opinion. Uh,
Okay.
so the story is something I want to talk about for a
All
little
right.
bit. Um, it's it's okay.
It's alright. It's
It's
alright.
okay.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
so spoilers here. We've been pretty anti-spoiler so far, but spoilers here for a 23-year-old movie. Um, the film puts you on this hunt for sort of a past figure in Agent K's life, and they're trying to figure out how to stop this alien from getting what's it called? The galaxy? Um,
Orion's belt or something.
Orion's belt. Orion's belt. I was
Also,
like Milky Way galaxy or something.
I totally missed that detail. Wait, he was someone from his past?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They talked about that a lot.
I thought that was
It
Men in
was.
Black Three's plot. Maybe they're maybe they just repeat that idea then.
I mean, oh, but there was. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so Men in Black 3. That's the time travel. I'm talking about like this is something Agent K had been like discussing.
Oh, okay,
Like,
okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This was a monster, not monster, alien he knew and like
He knew the Kingpin.
right, right, right. So, but yeah, that definitely takes more of a front row seat in like Men in Black 3 for sure.
Okay, okay.
Which, by the way, I really like that movie. I haven't watched it in a while, but I remember liking it.
Yeah, I wonder
I
how it
like
holds up compared to all of them.
Yeah, I have no idea. I story time, kind of sidetrack here, but eighth grade, um, we had like an eighth grade going away dance where it was like it was our last time to see everybody together, kind
Okay,
of thing.
riddance.
Right, right, right. So it was on my birthday, and there was gonna be like a pool party where everybody went to after the dance, just to say goodbye, hang out, do whatever. And I decided to go watch Men in Black 3, two of my friends. And I never saw 60-70% of the people from eighth grade again because I decided to go watch Men in Black 3 for
I
my
mean,
birthday.
to be fair, you didn't even remember like their faces and names
No,
off the
you're
top of your
totally
head.
right.
Exactly.
This is not a story of regret. This is a story of
Triumph.
man. I made yeah, it's a story of triumph.
That's
This is a
right.
great success. But yes, I that's how I remember the film. I remember that there's a spike dude in it who shoots spikes, and there's a Pitbull song in it, and it's hype. But that's all I remember about that
You
movie.
remember like 80% more than I do of that movie. I just remember Josh Brolin was Agent K in that movie, and that's it.
That's right. Thanos was Agent King.
And
Um,
Luke
and
Cage was also in that movie, but I won't spoil who he plays.
I don't remember that. Interesting. You'll have to tell me
Yeah,
afterwards.
yeah, I'll tell you. I'll tell you after.
Yeah, we'll discuss it. We'll
Back
discuss it.
to whatever main point we were on. Oh yeah, the story, of course.
Of course. Oh, okay. So let's talk about the twist. There's kind of the twist. It's like not a big twist, but like it's the cat. I want to talk about the cat here. I love that. I love that the Orion's belt is like on the cat's like necklace. I love that.
It's literal.
Yeah, it's so literal, and I
Yeah.
don't know how. Like watching it again, I obviously knew that that was happening, and it wasn't like obvious maybe for a first time viewer, but I feel like you should be able to figure that out. Like
Uh,
were our dumb baby brains unable to figure this out the first time we watched this? Because I feel like I that must have been like such a revelation. Like, oh my gosh, the cat. It's the cat. You know what I mean?
I
Do you
mean,
think
like, I don't think I had any memories of this movie at all
right,
before watching it, like, today or whatever. And I thought
right?
I did. And I kind of had, like, the general premise ish in my head, right? But
Sure.
I didn't know, like, the cat was kind of, like, the central part of the plot in terms of, like, what the villain's going after. But I was, like, watching the scenes where it initially shows Kingpin's character. And the reason why I'm saying Kingpin is because I'm pretty sure the actor who plays the villain in this movie goes on to play Kingpin in
I,
Daredevil, right? Right? Am I thinking of the same actor?
yeah. I
It's
think you're
crazy.
right.
I have no
I
idea.
think you're right. That is crazy.
Yeah.
That guy's a beast, by the way.
Oh yeah. My apologies. But yeah, so the way the villain was like set up in that scene, or like where he was looking at, it made it like to me, it made it very obvious he was looking at the cat, and not really like the guy. So when he like confronts like that one alien, the Guardian of the Galaxy, before the movie came out, but yeah, the guy is
Right.
like known as the Guardian of the Galaxy. It looked like he was looking at the cat first, and I think that's where the focus was, because I thought the cat was going to be like either some alien or maybe something central to the plot. So when they revealed, oh, the solar system they're looking for or whatever is in the cat's like collar, I was like, oh, okay. So I mean that's why beforehand they focused on the cat so much.
hmm So you don't think it was like super obvious, but you did think there was something going on?
Yeah, it
Maybe.
was like subtle enough where it's like if you're
Right.
like kind of paying attention to where he's looking at, uh, you think okay, it's kind of vague necessarily like where he's looking at, but there's like two focuses in the scene. It's either the old guy or the cat. And when he kills the old guy, you think, okay, yeah, he was going for the old guy. But then what was the point of the cat? You know, there's got to be a point to the cat. And I think that's what they were trying to go for with the scene.
I respect that. I think it's safe to say that the twist is obviously we're spoiling a lot of this, but like it's done well and it still like kind of lives up to it, which is cool. Because I remember thinking even when I watched it most recently, like 2 days ago, I remember thinking that like it's pretty solid. It's very cool. I like a movie with a good twist, that doesn't feel like forced or stupid. Obviously, it's kind of dumb, but like it works for the movie. Um, and I do want to give this movie kind of props. This is going on another tangent. I want to give this movie props for the whole goofy space-esque movie, you know? Like, I feel like that was kind of a risk. Like, obviously, there were other ones, like there's Spaceballs came out before this.
Mm.
Um, but it definitely feels like it would be a risk to put this out. I guess it had Will Smith and Tommy Lee, but but I do still want to throw some appreciation on it for setting that ablaze a little bit. Like maybe if Men in Black didn't exist, like we wouldn't get the Guardians of the Galaxy we got today. Which I know you kind of that you saying that kind of brought that revelation to me a bit.
I think so, yeah, because this whole like comedy duo and this whole like alien sci-fi esque nature, I think, I don't know, like the biggest mediums you think of in that genre are like Star Wars and Star Trek, right? And they're usually
Sure.
very serious, maybe like space opera esque. So like watching this, I think what isn't Spaceballs more of like a just parody,
Yeah,
right?
it's straight parody of Star
Yeah.
Wars.
So this movie being just kind of like the gateway into like science fiction comedy, I felt without this and there's the name drop of Guardian of the Galaxy, we wouldn't have that movie series.
I
I mean,
agree.
I
And
don't know anything about cinema or the potential effects of what this did, but hey, whatever, you can't prove I'm wrong.
exactly. That's what we strive for here on this podcast is being technically not incorrect. That's what we
Exactly.
aim
That
for. Irrefutable lies. That should be our podcast rename.
I call it misconstrued truths.
Misconstrued truths works as well. I'll give it to you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Of course, of course. Um, what are we missing? So we've discussed the
Talked
genre.
the
Kind of.
genre a little bit.
Yeah, we talked
Um,
about the genre. Talked about the actors.
I guess in a way we also talked about characters when we were
We
talking about
did.
actors as well, and then
Oh, for sure.
setting, set design, which is also setting.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
music.
What did you think?
Danny Elfman, of course, dude. This music was bomb. Like I loved it.
I'm really glad you said that because I thought it was pretty sick too. Like it got me jamming.
Don't worry. This is like I know we mentioned Suicide Squad earlier, but this is kind of
Okay.
like that situation where we both really heavily agreed on a point, but one of us has to say it first.
Yeah, yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, let's just like just say it so we can both say it.
Yeah, yeah. But we're just
Because
hesitant to
honestly,
say it.
yeah, honestly, I was ready to go into this not care about the music because
Same.
that's definitely something I notice in some of the older movies I watch is people kind of cash it in on music. I mean, that happens today too. Like I'll hear generic action, boom, 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 boom. Like you'll hear that a million times over. But like this movie's like there's some bangers, you know? And I think that um that's more obvious in some of the sequels where they take that over. But like this alone, we keep saying it. This movie alone like rocks. It's good. You don't need the whole series. Like you're not missing anything if you just watch this, I think.
Oh yeah. No, it's great. Like it's just a great like it's just a enjoyable film to watch, you know?
Mhm. Did you think it was funny? Is
Yes.
my question.
Very.
Yeah.
I thought like all of Will Smith's like banter and comments, I thought it was great. Like his like little like one liners and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I loved it.
It feels like that comedy like hasn't changed today. Like
Oh
Will
yeah.
Smith kind of one-offs and stuff. Like if I were to write the scene where he gets the cricket, right? Like if I were to write the scene where he gets the cricket, which is this tiny gun for people who haven't seen this,
Very puny gun.
very puny gun, and he's like, "What am I supposed to do with this?" I wouldn't write it any differently than they did. Like I don't think there's like much to be done about that joke. Like I think it's hilarious. I think the movie's pretty funny, like overall, but there's some really good like bits in there. I'm definitely down with the humor with this movie. It has aged well for me. It still gets some laughs for sure.
I think so too. I don't think any of the jokes aged poorly
Right.
because they're yeah.
It, yeah, I want to add on to that. There's definitely n- there wasn't anything that made me go like, "Oof, this could not get made today." Cuz like that definitely could happen with a secret agent movie. You know, they could have the hot secretary or something that everybody sort of sexualizes for some reason, but they
It was
didn't do anything.
actually sort of progressive, I think, in a way, with like a
Right?
female
Yeah.
lead. Because the whole bit where she's like being held hostage by Kingpin in like the morgue,
Mm,
and she's giving him like a bunch of like very obvious hints that there's something wrong, like with her situation right now. She's trying to say like, "Oh hey, like save me right now, dude! Like I'm in a terrible situation." And like Will Smith plays it off as like she's just like coming on to him,
right.
and then like she calls him out on it, saying like, "How the like did you need me to sing it for you that I was being held hostage?" And he's like, I don't know. He throws like another diss back at her, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm so sick of what's it called? Like the diss. He pretty much called her like skanky or something."
Right, yeah,
And
it
then
was
like her
something like that.
comeback's like, "Oh, what's wrong with like an independent woman? You know, making like comfortable with her sexuality or something." And I thought that was like, oh, okay, that's surprisingly like relevant. I don't know if I
I agree.
phrased it the best, but yeah, it's not like very clear like gender roles. It was more of like, you know, everyone in this movie has like a good banter. You know.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, it definitely has aged well in that aspect because that that sort of thing, like it won't ruin a movie for me. I'll be
Yep.
honest. Like I'll watch a movie and there might be like a yikes joke about a woman or like some race joke that like falls off a bit. Like, really? Do we need that?
I mean, I feel like
But
you enjoy
okay,
those.
let's not go there. That is okay,
Yeah,
but like
I definitely don't
that
have any
doesn't
problems with race jokes. In fact, those are my favorite, the ones that haven't aged well.
those let's bring up race more
Let's
often.
bring it back, actually.
Okay, no, nope, nope, nope.
No, no. Oh,
I support
we should not
I
cut that
support
out.
racial equality, but no, that sort of thing doesn't throw me off a movie. But like when a movie doesn't have that and like can work on its own in today's age, like that's pretty hype.
Hmm.
Gets me hype. That is all I can say about that.
I think to extend or elaborate further on my point, I guess to formulate it better, what I meant to say was that none of these characters feel cliche. Like they don't feel like very defined and these tropes that we would have for certain characters, especially of like older movies, and that's what I really liked. It feels fresh. Like even now, like it felt like a very modern esque movie. Like with the
I
especially with the
I
comedy.
agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I totally agree. I
Yeah.
think there's not really any caricatures here, except maybe the worms being like dude bros, you know, like yo man, you got our food. They're just like messing with him or whatever. I
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
that
that's
was
great.
funny though. But yeah, honestly, that's a great way to put it. It is like this movie could be released today and it would be funny. People would watch
Oh
it
yeah. I mean it still is
for
funny.
sure.
So I mean, I love it.
Yeah, it still is funny.
Now, does
Yeah,
that change my
like
rating, you know? Well, we might find out. I don't know. I don't know what our next segment is, but
oh,
yeah,
that's a
let's
good point. I
yeah, transition.
transition question mark? I know I'm down. I'm down. We can certainly get into our ratings, I think.
Is there
I'm pretty interested.
anything you would like to say before we get onto the ratings?
Um
Any hot takes?
any
Anything?
hot takes, anything.
Maybe how
I
your
feel
day
like I
was. I
had
don't
one.
know. Oh, okay,
How
hot
my
take.
day was?
Oh, sorry.
It was
Go ahead.
okay. It's okay, man.
Just go ahead.
Um I think I lost my hot take. I wanted to say that the biggest disappointment with this franchise is that there was a proposed 21 Jump Street Men in Black crossover and it fell through. How is that possible? How do you mess that up, Hollywood? That is free money. Please make it happen. It's it would be amazing.
Well, think
That's
about it like this.
okay.
How could Hollywood mess up the Men in Black franchise by
Oh,
not having Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, you know,
they,
in a
they
new
would never
movie?
do that. They would never do that.
No, it's just
To
they
be
had
fair,
there are clear ways not to mess up this franchise, and they did. So
to be fair, there was a painting of them in the most recent movie.
wow, that's not
So,
it's
uh,
not satisfying in the slightest.
it's basically the same thing as them being there. No, the most recent movie, there's some funny jokes in it, and I like Tessa Thompson and I like Chris Hemsworth, but it's a pretty bad movie. I will admit. There's a twist in it. There's like three twists in it. One of them is okay. Two of them are so lame. I I feel if you really want to know my opinion, suggest, but like I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, that movie has problems. I could go on for a whole episode talking about that movie's problem, but we are not going to do that because
Hmm.
I don't want to coerce anyone into watching it. But with that, I think. Do you have any hot takes? How was your day?
Uh, to answer your latter half of the question, my day was fine. It's just
Hmm.
that listeners of the podcast, whoever you may be, if you exist even, I hope you guys are smart enough to respect our current situation in the world, and wear a mask. Just please. That's all I have to. All I want to give out for details
No,
for my personal life. Just wear a mask, please. It's
I think that's really well articulated. Yeah, take care of each other right now, guys. It's tough. Call
we
a friend.
can't
Call your parents.
afford to be selfish. We gotta lend a helping hand to our fellow man, woman, whatever you identify as. Just please. But you know, besides how the podcast just went on a bit of a more serious note, let's get on to ratings before we get into that whole tirade, because we review movies and video games and stuff. We don't talk about the
It's
real world.
fun. Goofy. There's
All
no
right.
global pandemic.
what
Doesn't exist.
Now, what rating would you give this movie, Matt, if you'd like to go first? Or I could go, or maybe Craig could go. Craig, you've been awfully silent.
You have been, Craig. What are your thoughts? Yeah, I like that part too. Thanks. And we got like a Dora the Explorer kind of thing going on with Craig here, where we talk to him and he silently responds.
But Dora
Um,
has an audience. Oof.
ooh, get destroyed, Craig. All right. My rating for this movie, I first want to say that I would recommend this movie to anybody who is interested in it. If you want a comedy, if you want a sci-fi, both are good options. Combined, even better. So give it a watch. It's on Netflix. So like, what excuse do you have? I know you have it from your ex-girlfriend. You never gave it back. Go ahead, give it a watch. And with that, I am gonna give this movie an 8 out of 10. Really solid score. It makes me laugh a lot. And that rating is purely for the first movie, I will say, not the franchise. That's a whole nother story. But the
Ooh.
first movie, standalone, got to be at 8 out of 10. Really, really funny, really good. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to you.
All right. The time that hopefully you've all been waiting for. If not, then I apologize for extending this bit for however many episodes we've been doing this, maybe 12 episodes, 13 episodes. If you're sick of this shit, I am sorry. But I would like to give this movie an 8 Spider Man 3 out of 10.
um,
And I totally didn't look around my room at a poster. But yeah, this movie has got it all. It's got those laughs, it's got good heart to heart moments, it's got fun action scenes, very fun world building. It's a great movie. I don't think anyone would regret like watching this, and it's just a fun time to enjoy with friends, company, whatever. Watch this movie if you haven't. It's such an easy watch. Like this is such an easy movie to really get into because from beginning to end, it really keeps you in. And that's my
I
take.
I totally that's such a good way to put it. It is such an like if you need some good vibes right now, like a lot of us do, give it a watch. Let us know what you think at ALW_podcast. Wow.
On on,
Incredible.
on Twitter, in case you're watching the video version of this, because Matt did cut out on my end, and I'm the one recording this. But yeah, ALW_podcast on Twitter.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
Yep.
And we also are still recording and putting up our episodes on YouTube. We
Yep.
won't have our beautiful faces for this one because we feel empty and alone without Peter. Um, but yes, we are uploading there at H Like Wine Podcast YouTube. There's a link to it on our Twitter as well, if that's more your speed.
And
And
eventually, we'll have good edits for it. I just need to become creative or get that
we
creative urge.
we'll get there. We'll get there. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We're sorry for the Peter fans. Um, we're he'll be back soon. Don't worry. He's staying busy. He's got a lot going on, obviously. But yeah, thank you so much for
Hmm.
listening. Um, hope you're all staying safe, and we will catch you next week.
And
Thank
for
you so
next
much,
week,
Aviva.
we'll be talking about very current events going on with the Smash Bros. Community. That's why we're going to be talking
Oh,
about Smash Bros. Melee through Ultimate and talk about the relevancy of these current accusations. Okay, I'm sorry. All
okay.
right.
We
Thank
are
you so
not
much for
talking
listening
about.
to our episode. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.